Today I don't feel like doing anything.
Because it's my birthday.
It's because you've gone at it for a week.
Don't feel like
Yeah, my liver called No Mas today.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Phil.
God, that was a great
Salute.
time.
Happy
I had
birthday, man.
so much fun.
Salute.
That was so much fun and great. And the Autism Up people were awesome.
Yeah.
Sarah,
Lisa.
Lisa was
they're
there.
phenomenal.
And yeah.
Her husband, the whole gang.
Yep.
Tons of
Kyle.
volunteers showed up. Yeah, it was
Damien
great.
was there. It's always a
Damien-
good time with
Damien-
Damien.
Tommy was there. Jen was there.
Yep.
Sheriff Baxter was there.
Yeah. It was
Stephanie
really-
was there.
Stephanie did show up.
Yeah.
She was great.
Oh yeah, she
was a lot of fun.
She always brings it.
She does.
Always brings
she
it,
brings it, man.
She brings energy. That's
Yes.
for sure, man.
Yes.
Tom was there. My staff, Lindsay,
Yeah.
Jess were there.
Yeah.
Lindsay was having a good time
My
last
family.
night.
Yeah. My my whole family showed up. It was
Tom was there. Great time.
yeah. Tom's got a great sense of humor. He's
Brought
a
his
lot of
wife.
fun. Ann.
Yeah.
Ann was there, and he brought his hockey buddies. So yeah, I mean it was a great turnout. I had a bunch of other friends showed up.
We
So
almost had a hockey rumble. The Monroe County versus the
I mean there were some people that
Roco
didn't
team.
show up.
We're gonna Jetson the Sharks.
Yeah.
There were
Yes. There was.
there were some people that didn't show up that some people thought were going to show up
yeah.
or thought they might show up, but
Put money on it.
They actually had
money
other
on that.
plans, or I think other things popped up. But they were missed, and would have been fun with them, perhaps as much or more fun with them. Always bring more the merrier.
Yeah, the more the merrier. I agree. Some of the roast jokes that didn't make it. Should we go through those? I think we did some of these already, but we'll do them again. Should we have you do them?
Okay.
Well, you wrote some of these. Do you have them?
Yeah, I think I do.
Do the
So I
start with your employees.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Because I like this.
Do I get to do mine?
So this is after
Yes,
I saw the Tom
yes.
Brady roast. Okay. So that's why they're a little, okay. And I preface this. I said, I don't know if these are any good, let alone appropriate, but here we go. So, okay. All right. Your employees must get sick of hearing you utter the phrase, as a former defensive back, every morning after a Bills loss. I mean, you don't hear Tom Ferris breaking down film of your commercials, telling your employees, well, as a former hair guy. Greg, if every day is your birthday, then every day must also be Tom Ferris having to clean up after a parade.
That would be Lindsay cleaning up, Jess cleaning up after the
Well,
parade.
'cause he's the parade guy, though. That's his.
Oh
his
yeah,
big thing.
that is. He
Oh,
is-
here
he
you
is the
go.
St.
This is
Patrick's
one
Day
that we
parade.
wouldn't do. This is one we wouldn't do, but we loved it. We loved this joke.
Okay. I didn't think even Connors and Ferris would advertise everywhere until I saw a Connors and Ferris badge on the wreckage of Steve Barnes' plane.
we tried to rework that one to lessen the darkness on it.
I said to him yesterday, I go, it's too dark. I'm not doing it. It's too dark. It's
man.
too dark.
Yeah, that's. I'm a karma god. That's,
Yeah,
I don't wanna,
no, too dark.
I don't want to tread there.
Too dark.
So, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, give another one.
Remember that scene when OJ got off and Robert Kardashian was standing right next to him? It must have felt real good watching the trial with Jim Kelly when he nudged you and said, that'll be us someday. Or, you do that for me too, right? Connors and Ferris.
Those are good. I thought they were good. There was a couple. What ones of yours got cut?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
No.
My favorite
No,
one.
no,
My favorite one.
no.
I know I won't.
No.
But it's
Danny
my
had a
birthday,
bunch.
Greg.
What else
No.
did you have in
Okay, all right. So, hey, Greg, your mom says family members. I think I got this screwed up.
You
but-
did.
Okay.
That's okay.
So let me-
We could have fixed it.
Greg, your mom says family members try speaking to you in Italian, but you only hear them in Irish, which makes your clients' lives difficult when they hear crickets in court, like at Bill's roast, or while you're hearing cha-ching, cha-ching. As a servant leader, you set a great example, taking on as many cases as you can, even if that means attending every concert, celebrity golf tournament, and Super Bowl you can until your client's needs are served. Connors and Ferris.
See, and I was like, these. I don't like these. These are like, this is like
It's a roast, though. It's a roast.
It wasn't a roast, though. That was the thing.
No, through the grapevine, I was
Yeah.
told it was
Yeah,
a roast.
It was it was
Kevin's
not,
grapevine.
Yeah,
Kevin's
yeah,
so
because-
gnarled.
It's because that's what Kevin wanted
Yes,
to do.
Kevin wanted
it
to
wasn't what I wanted.
Oh, Kevin wanted
I got texts. They never said specifically roast, but you kept saying comedy. So I assumed.
Because Bill has a show, I was like, we're gonna have Bill I was going to have Bill MC and then do some of his show, which has nothing to do with me because he's not going to do a show in the Finger Lakes or wherever the hell he's going to do it and make fun of me because they don't know who the fuck I am. And I didn't think, no, I figured he might throw one in there with some relevance of whatever because.
No, we liked it.
But the whole roasting, I never ever, look, first of all, my life is so easy to make fun of these days that, and I'm a bit fragile at times, that I'm not asking for that.
No.
I'm not looking for anything to tip the scales against where I'm at.
Oh, God.
So the roast could totally tip the scales because,
I have a couple here that I had too.
Okay.
Wait.
Right.
Do you got the mute there? I don't want,
These are all appropriate.
You're sure they're the ones that, okay.
Greg has his family's name on many buildings around New York State and also 325 different public bathroom stalls. For a good time call if it's your birthday.
262 comp.
Greg once tried to fight William Mattar but didn't meet the height requirement. I think that one made the
I'll see me. Oh, yeah, that one when I wanted to do, and I bailed. I just bailed early on the set.
As you know, Greg loves the Bills and Hard Knocks, but it's Hard Knocks when he headbutts a TV after the Bills loss.
Which one?
Yeah, right.
That's why I got 7.
Yeah, right.
And then the one that you won't let me do. I think that's another one.
I'm looking for the Jim Kelly, Connors and Ferris ad. I don't know if I can find it online.
It's been a couple years now.
Yeah, it's been a couple
years now.
Sports, though, I would say you Kevin put on the
Golf. PGA Championship.
PGA Championship.
Valhalla.
I can't believe 20 under is winning the PGA Championship. That's an embarrassment.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
that's
that's
got to be an
embarrassment.
easy course
That's
or
like the
something,
Waste Management
Oh
Open.
my God.
What was the score last year
I think it was
at Oak Hill?
4 under.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had some days of heavy rain.
Well,
They had a day of heavy rain, too. They had some
They
pretty
did?
bad rain.
Well, that's a U.S. Open. Like Oak Hill is like a U.S.
Yeah.
Open course. That's supposed to be hard.
and they actually on Saturday kept the greens longer because of the rain.
Okay.
And if they hadn't, the scores would have been lower or higher.
What was that one year? It was like 2 years after the first PGA Championship we had. I think it's 2005. They're playing in like Medina in Chicago, and they actually had to water down the greens
Yeah,
because the
so
scores were
hard.
so. Everybody was plus.
Wow.
Like nobody was under.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Now,
So it's just. By the way, a year ago today,
yeah.
we had a
that's right.
great week.
Yes, we did.
I was being very reflective this week because I'd be like, oh, a year ago today, this Wednesday,
Yep.
we were at the club and we were having a good time.
Yes, we were.
And then what I said earlier during the break was a year ago today, the
Yeah.
championship that was
We're at
ending.
Thirsties, right?
And then we went to Thirsties afterwards.
Yep.
And we were in the parking lot and
They had the Thirsties Cup. They did the toilet bowl,
Yeah.
whatever they had out there, and they did that. But I was just thinking about like sports, and this is a very interesting tournament to me because I got sucked in where I don't know who the golfer was, but he hit it to the concession stands. He was way off.
Oh, really?
It hit a tree as he was trying to come back out of like deep in the rough
Okay.
or over by the cart path, and it rolled down into the concession stands.
Okay.
So they had to clear it all out, and they gave him a drop, but he's picking up bark and sticks and
Yeah.
and I think he went 6 over on a hole.
That would have been me.
I think he went
Holy
6 over on
shit.
one hole, and I just happened to. It was like 5:00 on Friday.
Wasn't Tiger, was it?
6?
No, it was me.
Or
How I
Saturday.
go.
It was one of them, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then the whole Scheffler thing.
oh my God.
Now here's
that's
the thing.
Crazy.
This is where I go. This is where sports is such a great parallel to life, and why I always think it's so good for kids to play. He played exceptionally well on the day that he got arrested. I don't know if that's an adrenaline high.
Through
I
the
don't
first
know.
hole.
Right. I mean, he played really well.
Yeah.
So how you put that out? The next day, almost like a car accident, you feel it.
Yeah.
He had a rough Saturday,
Yeah,
and he
horrible
admitted
Saturday.
it. And then Sunday, I don't know if anybody saw this. He's sitting there, and who's the ESPN reporter who filmed him being arrested?
Darlington, Jeff Darlington.
Darlington. Yeah, I have the audio of Darlington here.
How about Greg?
Oops.
Guys,
Dude, step back. Back up.
I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
back.
they're yelling at Darlington. Yeah.
You're getting one, right? Yeah, I'm 50.
Guys,
What do we
dude,
do?
I'm staying back.
Here's the thing. Right now, he's going to jail.
Okay.
Okay? He's going to jail, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. Period. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you have
First,
questions?
I'm media. I'm a
Okay.
reporter. Okay.
Okay.
So that's all.
That's fine.
I just want to make sure that's known.
Okay, but you need to step back
No
over
problem.
here
No
now.
problem. You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's where it ends.
And what that demonstrates, one of the things they teach you in law school is when a police officer gives you an order, you have to comply.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether it's an appropriate legal order or not, it's not up for you to decide. It's up for a court to decide.
Okay.
And so when they tell you to do something, you have to do it. So if they do something that's improper and you don't follow it, they can arrest you for obstruction of justice.
Yep.
Obstruction of justice. And then the judge will rule whether it's appropriate or not. But the more you resist an order, the more aggravating it becomes. And so, the reporter there handled it perfectly well. I'm listening, I'm doing it. And I don't know exactly. I still haven't seen any body cam footage.
I haven't either.
Heard
I haven't even looked,
any
so I don't know if
eyewitness
it's out
accounts
there.
of what transpired. I did read today that the county in Louisville that will be prosecuting this is going to drop the charges, though.
Okay. Well,
Scheffler did it right in his press conference. He didn't bash it all.
In his press. Did he talk about it?
So he did talk
It was a
about it.
misunderstanding.
Okay, I did
They
not.
asked him. He said also they asked him if he wanted the full prison experience or just the half. And he goes, "What's the full?" And they gave him a sandwich.
Oh,
I haven't had anything to eat.
he said and all I saw was where he talked about on Saturday, saying I was definitely not feeling like myself today for sure. Yesterday happened. I did my best to recover from it and come out here and compete today. I did a great job yesterday of coming out and competing, riding the adrenaline. This morning was definitely not my usual routine for a round, if that makes sense. I wasn't able to get it done, which is pretty frustrating, but I'll come back and try again tomorrow. I love the way he said that.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. So he hadn't talked to Darlington since Darlington filmed that on Friday. And Sunday morning, this morning, they're sitting down, talking together, and all of a sudden, no fewer, according to Darlington, than 12 members of the Louisville Metro Police Department came walking by. He goes, very coincidentally, and they all fist bumped Scheffler, every one of them. And Scheffler said, "Where's everybody going?" And Darlington described it as a very interesting sight that served as an interesting bookend to a strange weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
They're going to get Mickelson.
strange weekend, and yet, so that may be why.
So
Maybe they were all saying, "Hey, look, you did handle this well," and they're apologizing. I don't
the
know.
account that I read
Yeah.
was from recorded. Some Louisville police officers said that there's a whole detail of police officers who are, fans of golf that volunteered to do the detail.
Okay, yeah.
But when the accident occurred, where the bus ended up fatally injuring one of the volunteers, all the police came in, whether you're a golf fan or not, came in. And then the individuals that had the issues with Scotty Scheffler were the individuals that came in because of the fatality.
Right.
And so their understanding as to what was going on was different than what was transpiring prior to their arrival. And they had arrived just recently to the situation.
Yeah.
And then that's when the mayhem broke down with Scotty Scheffler.
But it was interesting to me because I go, boy, you could see where this would fuck your head up.
Oh my God.
Right? I mean, you could see where this could really screw your head up. And even in the morning, but this morning, getting the 12 guys coming by and fist bumping, it might make you feel a little bit better and be cool. But I'm like, how do you bring yourself back? Because that's a great thing for life. You don't do well. You have something happen, and then it carries over. Maybe it's a bad test score in school or a bad comedy set at somebody's birthday.
And the other thing is, golf is not a team sport.
No.
It's you.
It's just you, baby.
And they say the mentality is a lot like a field goal kicker.
And that's where I love the sport thing, because when you're in that flow state and getting there, it's great.
Well,
right when the Knicks blow out the Pacers at home, that's great. When they lose, it's horrible.
Well, the other thing about
Even
golf,
Ben Stiller's crying in the front row.
Yeah.
the other thing about golf that to me has got even a greater parallel to life is that in golf, it's self-reporting, right?
Yes.
You self-govern.
Yes.
And in life, we should be self-governing, right? And so when you see the parallel there, and we've all had situations in our life, whether it be business or whether it be personal, where something happens and it's not anticipated and it's heart-wrenching and it's heartbreaking, and you step up to the challenge. It's because of the adrenaline. But then when you have a moment to reflect, you're like, oh, fuck, oh, shit, what just happened? Right. And then that's when it kind of gets in, because then it creeps into your head. So all the times, when the adrenaline's run, you can block it out because you haven't processed it.
Right.
Once you have the time to process it,
Right.
and then it starts creeping back in and out of your head.
It's a feedback loop, they call it.
It's okay.
It's a feedback loop.
Because that's the thing. That's like
And you can't get it out of your head. You have to somehow learn how to. You have to train your mind to change the channel.
I'm saying
Yeah.
it's like,
It's so hard.
So it's
Is that
like
what I got to do?
compartmentalize.
Change the channel.
It took me years to learn how to do that.
But like compartmentalize
Yes.
a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
like a form of OCD. I'm not joking.
I always think life is a head game more than anything, right? It's a head game.
Yeah.
And what do you do in a situation like that? And here's a great one. It was grabbing headlines. It was an odd thing. A guy who we wouldn't expect to get arrested going to his event 5 o'clock in the morning, not knowing. I don't know if he even knew what had happened.
Yeah, again,
Like he was just trying to.
Well,
get,
it was raining. It was
Yeah.
pouring.
Okay.
It was 5 a.m. It was still dark.
Dark.
Sun wasn't out yet.
Do they drive themselves?
Yeah, these guys have no help.
sometimes they do.
Because he had
There
a
are-
PGA car, but
Yeah,
it sounded like
PGA
he was
provides the
driving.
transportation, like the car. Oftentimes they drive themselves, or
Okay.
or they have their caddy drives them, or they have a driver. But
or their personal assistants, or whatever, depending on how big they are.
Right.
But Scotty obviously was, again, if it was like at 10 o'clock in the morning or something, somebody might have been driving him, but it was 5 o'clock in the morning.
he had the 8 o'clock tee time.
I mean-
and by the way, they can't push those back.
Yeah.
Unless it's weather forever.
Did he
but-
make it? I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah,
played.
yeah, he
got
played.
there.
He
Yeah.
played.
Well, it got pushed. It got delayed
pushed
because of weather.
Okay.
And the accident.
So
And the
The
accident.
accident
Yeah.
pushed it.
Thad Brown goes, man, imagine if this has happened in Rochester. What did we get last year? Frost.
I'm okay with Frost.
Frost.
And then I think Scheffler's caddy was going to his daughter's high school graduation on Saturday. And so they had the PGA chaplain, who's very close with Scheffler, was his caddy for Saturday. Now, I don't know if that plays into. He certainly didn't reference that. It was brought up in an article I read.
I asked for the
kidding.
3. You
But
blessed
he
the
never-
4.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
Well,
but the PGA chaplain, maybe the PGA chaplain knows golf well. I don't know.
again, when you get into situations like this, it's all about comfort and routine.
Yes.
And you said in the quote that he said he didn't have his regular routine.
Yes, he did.
And a lot of that, I'm sure, factors into that.
Yeah.
It's, when your life gets disrupted like that, it's earth shattering.
Right. Yeah, routine, I think, is very important.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's very important in just regular life,
It's what gives you comfort.
Well, it is because like I do a lot of weird stuff in the morning, and if I don't do it, I don't feel right for the day.
That's me working out.
Yes,
That's it.
Right.
I don't do it. I'm off.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like if I try to get out and do some kind of physical movement too, and if, I'm not getting those post-divorce muscles that I can. That was great. But I do. I think it's really important, and I think that you see it here, and I go, boy, it's a great. And I don't know golf well, so I would assume that you're right when you say like it is a great one for life because it's self-reporting. I think Kevin was the one who said his kid is on the Aquinas team now.
Yes.
And didn't you say like some course he played before and he told you he shot at 29 and he hit at 35 and it was because you're like, oh really? What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're self-reporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that,
Yeah. Well, I think most kids his age they count what they want to count.
yeah.
We told him me and my neighbor will play him and his best buddy for money anytime he wants to work out in our stroke. We're counting your strokes. You can count ours.
I got to tell you, one of the things that I enjoyed growing up is you can test the character and integrity of a person and how they play golf. And there are some people who I play golf with that I would never want to be anywhere near my business or anybody I care about because they don't play by the rules. They bend the rules. Now, the rules of golf, like you were talking about, the person that hit into the concession stand area, the rules of golf, like in life, are actually designed to benefit you in your game and in your life. It's just how do you interpret it, and then how do you go about it? And you got to know it. You got to understand it. And so when you think about that with life, it's like, okay, so something happens. You can't control the circumstances. Life is 10% what happens to you, 9% how you handle it.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's why I always say my big thing now is like, try not to have a knee-jerk reaction. It's very human. When we have the knee-jerk reaction, that's when
I call that the Italian reaction.
Yeah, okay. But it's where you like all of a sudden you've set off a chain of events now.
Yeah.
Because somebody else and you get into the drama and where if you can step back and give it that proverbial 10,000 foot view, you get a better chance of figuring things out. Or don't react at all and give yourself some time to process it, as Scheffler did with this whole thing, and hopefully it doesn't fuck up your head.
By the way, speaking of like golf, like, did you ever watch the 5-part OJ documentary?
I have.
On ESPN. So, did you get to the part where in part 5 they talked about how OJ used to cheat at golf, and how like they get over it. Like he hit a ball in like in the they hit a ball out in the rough.
What is this? I didn't see this.
Oh yeah. He hit a ball out in the rough. And he goes, hey, look, this ball landed right on this tee. Just sitting, and he would do it often. Like he would carry tees.
It wasn't on the tee, but
he said that the ball landed on this tee. Like he would real quick grab a tee, put it down, put the ball in the tee. Look, the ball landed on this tee.
I thought they were referencing when it landed, it was propped up like a tee, not on a tee.
Okay.
Because nobody that plays golf could ever imagine that would pop onto a tee. Did it go into a piece of grass that was propped up like a tee? Yes. But, you know, and I remember that because I remember thinking to myself, guys like that think they're above the rules. Yeah. They think they're above the law. And then they do things that just aren't appropriate, aren't right. And it's, and you know, when I was in law school, one of my mentors was like, you know, they'll take you out to play golf when you go, if you're at the end or like the end of the interviews, they'll take you out to certain situations so they can see what you interact and how you, whether you play golf or socially. And he was like, if they take you out to golf, it means they're serious about you, and how you play will dictate whether you get the job or not. And they were right. They were spot on. And I've done that in my own business. I've done that, you know, with Tom and Chris. We bring people out, and we hired a guy last year in Buffalo. No joke. Hired the guy last year in Buffalo. Had a ton of experience in what we do. You know, late 40-year-old guy, says he plays a lot of golf. Played in the golf league. I'm like, all right, hey, why don't you come out? We're having them taking some attorneys out to play golf. Why don't you come join us? He comes out. By the second hole, I turn to Chris, and I'm like, we got to fire this guy.
Really?
He didn't play by the fucking rules. He didn't play by the rules. Now, if he would have said, hey, are we rolling today? Are we playing summer rules? Or are we playing fun golf rules? He came out, and he was all gung-ho about, this whole thing. And I'm just like, yeah, he freaking guy's cheating.
Oh, wow.
Cheating. Literally cheated in front of me. And at the second hole, I said to Chris, we got to fight. And then 2 months later, we fired him.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because he didn't play by the rules. He didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's not situational. You either do it or you don't. You're either someone you can trust in this situation.
Right.
And it's not like, oh, you can trust someone here, but you can't trust them there. It's all the same.
Right.
Did he cheat and shoot 104 or did he cheat and shoot 80?
He cheated and shot like 110. Which pissed me off even
That's
more.
how I golf.
Well, look, I don't give a shit. But the thing is, it's about life, you know.
9 holes or 18?
It was 18.
I want to see this. I want video of this.
Oh, my God.
That's what we needed to show last night. Greg losing it on the golf course with this guy. That's great. That's fire by the second hole.
Maddening. That was maddening to me. But you can't choose what you're truthful or honest with. Either you are
Yes.
or you're not,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Yes.
Now, there are some situations where, you know, depending on how you're trained, like as a lawyer, I ask the question that's given to me. If you ask the wrong question or ask a bad question, I'm going to answer the question.
Right.
Well, it's good and work, but when you're in a personal relationship, you know what they're asking. You should answer what you know they're asking as opposed to just the question.
Right.
Because then they think you're being dishonest. And again, it's not that you're dishonest. It's just that, you know, you're not being fully.
It's it's gamemanship. Isn't that gamemanship?
Well, it depends. Again, I do not recommend that in a personal relationship.
No.
At all.
No.
But I digress there for a second.
One thing though, like I could never win and know that I cheated. I could maybe I'm wired differently.
Yeah.
But if I didn't beat you legitimately, then I'm like, what? I mean,
So I played in a lot of golf tournaments, right? Mm-hmm. And you know the scrambles and whatnot. And they allow you to take mulligans, and you pay for this and you pay for that, and that's great. And you know, there's been times where we've taken, you know, everybody gets a mulligan, you take it, and you burn through your mulligan, and then you're like, we got this short putt, let's hit it, and then you make it. And you're like, we're gonna count that. And I'm like, well, if we're gonna win, we're not counting it. If we're not going to win, but we're going to, you know, you want to count it, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter in the end because we're not telling anybody and we're not reporting it. We don't have, it's not like it's part of our gin handicap that actually goes towards tournaments or other events.
someone is calling it from another law firm.
So
I saw that.
I laugh at it because you play with guys and they're like, oh, that's going to count. And I'm like, well, it's not, if we're in it, if it's like 18 under and we're 17 under, but if that one putt puts at 18, we're not counting that as a made putt.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
I like the tournaments that have a set number, like they will randomly draw like a -7.
Yeah.
And then they'll win, that's the team that wins.
Yeah.
So that nobody has to cheat to get, you're just randomly, either you're winning or you're losing, but you're having a good time.
Yeah. It's just, but golf does provide those opportunities to self-report, and then you can tell who somebody's character is.
Gotcha.
By the way, if I had a daughter,
Yeah.
and I don't, if I had a daughter, I would take the guy. Fucking guy. Fucking guy.
You
dude.
take the guy out on.
I would take him out golfing and see how the hell he played golf. And if he was a fucking cheater, I wouldn't let him anywhere near my daughter.
Now, what if he okay? So I've never played golf.
Seriously, I would not let him near my daughter.
So like, if you brought me out and I was awful at it, like, or anybody would be awful. Like you had a son-in-law who was awful at golf. Is that a different set of like?
No.
Oh man, you got worried about this guy.
No.
Like he can't play. Like he's awful.
That
What
doesn't
else is he
matter.
awful
It's
at?
all about the person. No, fuck that.
All right, we'll take a moment. I see that Guy Fieri dropped 30 pounds.
This is gonna hurt his brand.
Zemback?
Where in his hair?
See, what is it, the Zemback or is
No, actually,
legit.
over 4 years has dropped 30 pounds, and there's something he's doing that I have a friend, a guy you know, is doing the same thing, and he's claiming this is
Freeze?
part of it. Yeah, we'll get to it next, but first.
I reckon I killed it.